Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mag, my Vero at Big Mouth 1, and my Instagram, which is the extension to this channel, Big Mouth. So welcome to my Crisis Episode 2 reaction review, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm a massive Smallville fan. For 10 years, Smallville was my emotional crutch. Growing up with Christopher Reeve's Superman and loving that is the reason this character is my number one character. So when I heard, let me start another kind of narrative for you. I was always resistant to these producers and these writers getting their hands on Smallville. Smallville was a very, very special show. It developed things the right way. It was very different because he didn't wear the costume while the show was active, but we saw him become Superman at the end. It was a great journey. We saw how Lex Luthor becomes Lex Luthor, Lois Lane. The whole thing was beautiful, right? And Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor for 7 seasons on Smallville, said no to the cameo for him being on it. So I found that very interesting that he said no, but I agreed with his reasonings. No script, he didn't know a schedule, but mainly he knew that the legacy is great, leave the legacy alone. That would have been massive for them to get him because he was so important to the show, but they didn't get him. So ultimately, Tom Welling, who played Clark Kent for 10 years on the show, agreed to be on it. I was already worried with the knowledge that I knew that Tom would never suit up. We saw him on episode 2. I don't think we'll see him again. And basically, they literally destroyed Clark Kent's, Superman's Smallville legacy. And let me explain to you how and why. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's spoilers, so piss off until you've seen it. If you don't care, stay here. But basically, the whole excuse, the whole justification for him not wearing the suit was that he gave up his powers to be a father. Let me explain to you why this is wrong. He's got two girls, by the way. Of course he's got 2 girls. This is the CW, the girl capital of the entertainment industry. Anyway, right, let me explain to you why this is so bad. A hero sacrifices his or her opportunity at a normal life to put themselves there to protect others, to look after other people. By Clark Kent saying, nah, giving up my powers, I'm going to be a father, I'm going to basically chop wood on the Kent farm and stay with Lois, right, and not be Superman anymore. You know what? It's not what Superman is. It goes against the very fabric of who Superman is. Being selfish, deciding to give up the cape, to give up his powers, to stay on the Kent farm to be a dad, is the most selfish thing Kal-El can ever do. And he is still Kal-El, with or without his powers. He's proud of giving up his powers. He's proud of being a dad. But he's given up on the world. He's given up on people. It's so wrong. Now, let's be clear here. The writers and producers had very little option with what to do with him because of the situation of him not wanting to wear the costume. And obviously, that's still his attitude. I would have been happy not to see any Smallville cameos on this show. Tom's idea was always that the Flash is running so fast, he goes through the multiverse, and he quickly runs past Clark, and Clark's like, oh, right, what's going on there? And that's that. I could have dealt with that cameo. That would have been cool. But because he won't suit up, because he won't wear the costume, and who knows why, because he isn't exactly got a great career, has he? But anyway, right, he played Clark Kent for 10 years superbly. He conducted himself publicly beautifully. He never embarrassed or tarnished the character. I respect Tom. He improved as an actor on the show. It isn't about giving shade to Tom Welling. It's up to him. It's his decision. I've always said that. And I've always said as well, since the days of Shakespeare, the whole point of acting and storytelling is pretending, putting on big, fun costumes like the Superman costume. And really, you're not an actor if you're not willing to do that. But again, it's Tom's decision. He got himself in a really good, renowned position playing Superman. he got to make those choices, and that's up to him. But I would have preferred that he never appeared on Crisis on Infinite Earths, because basically we're not going to see him again. I think we're going to see Erica Durance again. I think maybe as Kara Zor-El's mum, Supergirl's mum, right? But the whole thing literally burns to pieces the Smallville legacy. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't ruin that legacy to me. I watch that show all the time. That legacy is intact because you know why? Because I'm not treating this as canon. Now, Don Whitfield and Holly Henderson wrote this episode. Now, surprisingly, because I didn't think this was the case before I heard this, but I know that those two people actually used to write episodes of Smallville. So when I saw their names come up, I thought, yes, this is awesome. Someone who understands, a couple of people who understood the show. But within the writing, because they're directed by the producers, you could tell there was no kind of effort for this to be Smallville. Basically, he's there. Lois, basically, Arrow versus Lois Lane, and Superman and Iris West turn up. They're trying to explain to him that Lex Luthor is trying to kill him. He mentions that he's the president and he didn't know he was in town. Then, basically, Arrow versus Lex Luthor turns up. Excuse me. I'm so annoyed, I'm losing my voice. But, yeah, so then Lex Luthor turns up. He's grabbed his book. He's basically going around killing all the Supermen in the multiverse. I'm trying to find the word. In the multiverse. And he can't kill Clark. He tries to use kryptonite on him. But he's human. He's human, Lex. You could have just throttled him. You could have taken his axe and just cut his head off. Or anything, right? But you decided not to kill him because he doesn't have powers. Because basically, he's not a threat to him. But the whole thing was ridiculous. The whole thing was pants. It's disappointing. I'm not shocked with what happened because I knew what was going to happen. I knew Tom would never agree to it. Obviously, he took the payday. It's a good payday. I know a lot of fans that will be happy with what they saw. He was on the Kent farm. It's the original place where they used to film. He's Clark Kent. Lois Lane turns up for a split second. Erica Durance. They go in to see the kids, and that's that. For me, it was a total waste of time. If Clark's not using... Look, I wouldn't have cared if they stuck the traditional red jacket on him and he was running around saving people and he never put the costume on. That would have been cool. But basically, that was never going to happen. He wasn't going to be there for long enough to do anything. He didn't want to be there for long. He just wanted to do a talky thing. And that's why, because you need someone on wires, you need days and days to do these things if you're going to do those type of things. And that's the problem. It was never a viable situation. So basically, I think the cameo is a total waste of time. It's not a great achievement. It's really disappointing. And I would have rather not have seen it. Now, we go to Kate Kane and Batwoman because this was her episode. Now, they did the whole thing where there's a bunch of people in the book, these heroes, that are the chosen ones. And of course, it's Kara. Of course, it's Kate Kane because they're women and we have to build up the women, right? But to build up the women in modern day entertainment, we have to bring down the men. So we do meet a version of Batman, right? And I forgot the guy's name, but he's the guy who does the animated voice in the animated movies. So a very famous guy, very popular. It was a very popular choice to have him on the show. So we see him. So he's from another Earth. He's tired. He says that he's killed many of the criminals. So it's just thinking, oh my God, you've killed people. Then he's going to... And then they reveal that he killed Superman, Clark Kent in that universe. He starts quoting Batman v Superman. He brings out the kryptonite. He quotes Superman the movie. There's lots of quotes in this. It's awesome, right? In that aspect, look, Arrowverse is a great achievement. Whatever my criticisms of it, the franchise is successful. The crossovers are very ambitious, especially the Crisis one this year. But ultimately, they built that Batman Bruce Wayne down to raise Kate Kane up. Because ultimately, she was told he was one of the chosen ones, but he wasn't. Apparently, she was there to become the chosen one, right? So the whole thing, it was like last year where they literally got Superman, pulled his pants down just to build up just to build up Supergirl. So that's the whole thing about it. So again, what they've done is they've built down the male and raised up the female. It didn't work. It wasn't convincing, and everyone could see through it, but that's what happened. And then we go to the positive. So we finally meet Brandon Routh's Clark Kent and Superman on another Earth. Now, we didn't know what Superman we were going to get. But officially, it's the Superman Returns Superman, which means on Arrowverse, on Crisis, we met Christopher Reeve's version of Superman, because that's what and who Brandon Routh was playing in Superman Returns. So they're playing the John Williams Superman theme. It turns out that Lois and Jimmy and Perry all died because a villain from Gotham gassed the Daily Planet one day and those people died. Obviously, Superman survived because he's Superman. And then Lex Luthor turns up with his book and he casts his spell on Superman Returns Superman. He turns against Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. So these two Supermen have this epic showdown. It's pretty awesome. The effects are ropey in places, but it is a TV budget, and we've got to understand that. So that was really awesome. I think the episode was a waste of time. And what did I say? No, I don't mean it's a waste of time. That's a bit harsh. It's a filler episode. It was definitely trying to waste a lot of time, but I still I enjoy the achievement that they're putting all these Earths together. We're seeing these different versions. They're bringing actors from past shows and past, verses, and it's really exciting, and it's exciting for most of the fans. And as I say, if you're a DC fan, you've got to be doing it. But basically, that was great. But now, to another negative. What did I say to you yesterday after you lot got really, really excited after Green Arrow died Oliver Queen? You're not excited, but you were devastated. What a great twist. Oh my God, this is amazing. But nobody dies, as I told you, nobody dies on Arrowverse. And guess what? They're putting him in the pit and they're bringing him back to life, but he hasn't got a soul. I wonder what or who is going to bring his soul back. Won't be Felicity, will it? Yes, it will be Felicity, because we already know she's coming back. So that's what they're going to do. They're finally going to find her. She's going to kiss him or something stupid, or she starts talking to him, and she convinces him that to have a soul again. Yes, it's that simple. So nobody dies on Arrow. He's not going to die. And as I say, he will play some kind of role in the spin-off, because as I say, they're going to need him. Although I did forget a great line from Brandon Routh's Superman when he came to normal and the spell was off. He finished fighting Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. He said, "Well, this is not the first time I went nuts and fought myself," referring to Superman 3. Awesome. So there's some awesome lines. There's lots of Easter eggs. There's, as I said yesterday, so many Easter eggs I couldn't possibly remember. So now, at the end, we have this big cliffhanger with the Anti-Monitor summoning Lila, and she's joined his team now. So it's building up. Look, as I say, it's brilliant, it's ambitious, it excites me. But as I say, building up Kate Kane by building down that Earth Superman was despicable, but these people have form. So basically, if you can ignore the identity politics, this is like all entertainment today. If you can avoid the gender identity politics, it's fine. And I can do that. I'm used to it. Once you experience something, if someone keeps on punching you in the leg, in the end, it won't hurt. And this is what modern day entertainment is. So, yes, I do like it. I do enjoy it. But I want to know what you thought of episode 2 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. As I say, I love the fact that Brandon Routh was playing Superman Returns, Christopher Reeve's Superman. Some great lines there. Obviously, they couldn't get Kate Bosworth and the rest of the cast. They would have been expensive. That would have been a real confirmation of who he was. But we know that now. So, yes, a really, really good episode. And Mick was hilarious when Lila's trying to persuade him to help. And she's saying all these things. I'll give you all the beer you want. You can save the world. And he goes, you had me a beer. I laughed out loud. I must admit, Mick Rory is one part of Arrowverse I absolutely love. They haven't emasculated him. They haven't messed with him. He's pretty cool. But did you notice another piece of identity politics? Kate didn't want to hold baby Jonathan, but Mick did. You see what they're saying? She's a woman, she's tough. She's too tough to hold a baby. She's independent. Independent women in SJW world shouldn't be holding babies. Do you get it? Anyway, look, it's nuts. But as I say, it's like being punched in the leg. This identity politics thing, and if you experience it, you kind of just kind of let it go over your head. So please let me know what you thought. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow to react to part 3 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. See you then. I've really got to sort this throat out.